Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever Loam Sandbox live stream. I'm going to mute myself on the Twitch stream so that I don't hear two of me. Our VR garden sim game launches today for the Quest App Store. If you have an Oculus Quest or a MetaQuest 1 or 2 headset, you can download our game today. It's just $14.99, and we thought that since it's coming out today, we'd live stream, share it, show you a little bit about it, and also tell you a little bit about it and how we made it. So on screen is actually one of the producers named Amy. She's going to be playing Loam Sandbox for us today and showing us around the game and its features and everything on offer in the world of Loam. And additionally, you can expect a couple surprise guests that were involved in the development of Loam. So as Amy boots up, Loam will be met by the menu screen in just a moment. But Loam Sandbox is a creative garden sim decorating game in which you can plant, harvest, and even sell fruits, vegetables, flowers, herbs, just about anything you can think of. And with the money that you earn, you can buy decorations and you can design your garden space and turn it into the garden of your dreams. Oh, no worries. Yeah, so we're encountering a couple technical difficulties. Amy's just restarting her headset. And we'll get the game running in just a moment. Moment of truth. We're almost there. For anyone just joining, we're live streaming Loam Sandbox to celebrate the launch of the game this morning. Amy's launching into the game right now. It is a VR garden sim game where you can decorate your garden by growing, selling, harvesting fruits, vegetables, herbs, just about any type of plant. So as she loads up the game, you can see the start menu filled with flowers, a couple critters from the game. And you have two options, really three. Two of the main options are to start a new game. You can also save your game so that when the next time you load up, you can hop right back into the garden you've been designing. And then we also have credits for you to view. But Amy's just going to start a new game for us today. Nice, looks awesome. You can see right away you're met with some tutorial signs that are going to teach you how to play. For starters, movement, that's going to be incredibly important. By flicking the analog stick, you're going to be able to just hop around your garden. Just like Amy's doing. You're actually going to hop to the next sign, which is all about your backpack and also the tools at your disposal in the world of Loam. So behind you at all times is your backpack that you can pull out, and in each of those 9 slots you can put decorations, plants, seeds, just about anything that you'll need to interact with. In addition, you also have 4 tools at your disposal. And by pressing A, you're going to be able to load them. So you have your hand, but you also have your shovel. And with the shovel, you can, like you would probably guess, you can dig, you can create holes that you can drop plants into. The watering pitcher is going to allow you to water your plants after you've planted them. And lastly, your journal is going to teach you not only how to play, but it'll also show you around the land of Loam and present you just a little bit more information that may help you while you're designing the dream garden. Okay. So as you design, you're going to be able to move your decorations around in what we call precision mode. Yeah, that's exactly how you're going to be able to drag it around and even turn it by using your analog stick. And if you'd like, you can even pick it up and move it somewhere else by flicking. And so when you flick, you're basically going to bubble it, turn it into a form that you can hold. And then by pressing the right trigger, you're going to be able to put it back down in somewhere that you would like. And then again, you have a little bit more precision control over it to place it and orient it exactly how you would like. But we'll see more decorations later. Like I said before, you're going to be able to unbubble and bubble practically anything that you can set down. When you have things in a bubble format, you're going to be able to throw them in your backpack. You're going to be able to put them in the comms console and sell them. It's just a very maneuverable form for your items to take and handle. Yeah, so this is probably the most important part of the game, planting. You can see a fully grown tomato right there. You're going to want to select your hand and make sure that you're close enough to where you can see a white line connect you and the plant. And yeah, you're just going to press the trigger and you'll be able to harvest your plant and bubble it. And here you can see we have 6. A fully grown tomato plant is going to net you 6 tomatoes. And so now Amy just put it in her backpack. And she actually has 2 seed packets to her left. I think she's about to plant. Now, personally, tomatoes are one of my favorite to plant, at least if I'm trying to make some money, so I can buy some more plants or even some decorations. And it's mainly because, yeah, you get 6. You get 6 tomatoes, and that adds up, especially if you have a couple of tomato plants. So one thing I suggest for anybody looking to quickly gain some souls so that they can start designing their garden, I would suggest planting vegetables, pretty much any kind of vegetable that's going to net you a couple. That way you can sell them all at once and get rich quick. So in addition to showing you more insights into Loam's features and locations, the journal is actually going to tell you a little bit about the plants themselves. So you can see here, Amy pulled out the celebrity tomato page, and it'll show you how often you need to water the plant, as well as how many times you've actually harvested it. So it's a handy tool. It's always fun to look at, especially the more you play Loam, the more you harvest. That number's going to grow. It's fun to look at. So Amy's actually going to. So in case you missed it, in case you blinked, Amy had 6 tomatoes, and she can actually use her hands and sort of bring them together, press the triggers, and separate them to take just one single tomato. Now, this is helpful if you want to maybe sell 5 tomatoes and you want to plant the 6th one. Just giving you a little bit more freedom into how you want to play the game. That's exactly what she chose to do. So you can see she's going to water it. And now she has another tomato plant on the way. It's going to start growing. This big room that we're about to enter is actually called the shed. And In it, you'll see some pretty cool decorations. It's quite the cozy spot. But the main purpose that you'll find is this communications console. The communications console is going to allow you to not only sell your fruits, your vegetables, your plants, it's going to allow you to buy new seeds and also decor. So this is the catalog. It's split up into two sections. Seeds, that's where you'll find all your veggies, all your fruits, all your flowers, all your herbs. And there's actually another section called decor, where you're going to find your chairs, your fountains, basically anything that's not a plant and you can put in your garden. They range in price. You can see in the bottom right corner, the fairy garden costs 300 souls. So that's going to take some time to get up to, considering you only start out with 100. Yeah, so Amy's going to go ahead and buy seed. And when you buy seeds, when you buy decor, they're actually going to move to your left. And they're gonna spawn in a bubbled format that you can either put in your backpack or you can just carry out into the garden. One thing that's pretty nifty about it is that they stack. So if you buy 15 seeds, you're not gonna need to pull out 15 different bubbles. Just one is going to be enough. And now she's about to sell her 5 tomatoes. All you have to do to sell is use your grips to pick up your bubble, place it within that sort of pink area. Make sure that you see the number up top change. That's how many souls you'll receive. And then just pull the lever. And so we're going to head back out into the garden and we're going to plant the new seeds that we bought. Yeah, one thing that took me a long time to learn was that you can actually bubble your tutorials. And if you'd like, you can even sell them. But it might be a pretty effective way to get a couple more souls at the very start of the game, considering you can check your journal for a lot of what the signs are saying anyways. That's a good question in the chat. How long does it take for plants to grow? Honestly, it depends on which plant you're trying to plant. You can check the journal for like a very specific number, but you'll find that certain vegetables and certain flowers are going to take a really long time to grow, while others will grow faster than you probably expect. Like the dandelion, for example, is one of the fastest growing plants in the game. But when you sell it, you're not going to get that many souls. So often you'll find the longer growing plants are maybe probably worth it, I guess, in terms of the souls you receive for selling them. She's watering her plants. And once you have them all watered, a very helpful feature is actually the rest function. So if you walk back and not into the shed, but rather to the left, you'll see a house. And when you walk up to the door, you simply just have to touch it. And what will happen is you'll go to bed, you'll take a quick little nap, and it'll change the day period. So when you wake up, your plants will have grown a little bit more, or at least enough time will pass for them to have grown a little bit more. So as she walks back, she sees she's going to need to water them again because the dirt isn't as dark as it once was. And that piano tone is going to let you know that you've finished watering. And you can move on to the next plant. Time for some decorations. So Amy's scrolling through the different options available. You've got everything from bird baths to barrels to arbors to pillars to even shoes. Nice. So Amy just bought the glass grass. Amy, you got a suggestion to buy a gnome next.
What?
To buy a gnome next?
Okay, I'll do that.
Oh, nice. She just placed the glass grass. You can see how colorful it is. It looks awesome. Yeah, good call. Once you don't need your tutorial signs, I recommend just going ahead and selling them so you can use that space for more decorations. And you can see every time she places something within the comms console, at least the selling portion of it, that number on the top will change. So every sign she sells, she's earning 18 souls. Yes, buy a gnome. Navigating the comms console is as easy as just pushing buttons. So it's pretty intuitive. Up and down are going to move you up and down, left and right. Will allow you to swap between decor and seats. And that enter button to the right is how you'll select things that you would like to buy and confirm that you would like to buy them. Nice. That's the bird feeder in action. Where should you put your gnome? It's a moment of truth. And So there, Amy opted to throw the bubble. That's another way to unbubble. Yeah, if you throw your bubbles, they'll unbubble right as they hit the ground. Oh, nice. Many of the plants within the game have different growth stages, so you can see them getting bigger. Some of these tomatoes, while they may not be fully grown, they're a little bit further along the way than they were if you had just planted a new one. It's especially fun to see flowers grow and then eventually bloom. It's really nice. Oh yeah, Annie in the chat just caught it. There's also critters in this game that you can attract. And we just saw a glimpse of one a second ago. Hopefully when we get back out, we'll see another one. Is there an item limit? Honestly, I'm not sure. I'll bring in the executive producer soon and we can ask her about the item limit. Because I know you can have tons of loams. I've never actually bought so many gnomes that I couldn't buy anymore. Oh, some technical difficulties. Yeah, so the casting just crashed. We're going to get this back up by refreshing the page. Just one moment. Hopefully there'll be a critter waiting for us. Just one moment. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a great idea.
I'll get it. You talk.
Okay. Yeah, but we're all very excited for you all to try out Loam Sandbox. In fact, to celebrate the occasion, let's go ahead and bring on somebody who was very involved in the process of creating the game. I'm curious to see what they did specifically and how they did it. I know that they were very involved in the sound effect selection. So without further ado, here is Jamie Lance. Now,
Oh, where do
can
I-
you see? Okay.
Okay, there we go. Hi.
Yeah. So, okay. So, Jamie, do you want to just tell them a little bit about your role in the game's development?
Sure. So my name is Jamie Lance. I've been with the company almost 4 years, come May. And so what I've done for Amoebus Labs is I have sourced the sound effects for the critters, the pulling of plants, the watering of the plants, when you just really any of the large and small noises that you will hear throughout Loam.
That's awesome,
Thank
considering
you.
the sounds are such an important part of the gameplay experience. How did you find the sounds?
Well, so I worked with Audio Jungle, and those who out there can understand the sometimes the frustration of the Audio Jungle chick that will talk over the noises. But so it was a lot of it was pretty easy. But you have to, if you're looking for water flow out of a can, well, that's going to sound different from the water that comes from the fountain, and then the fish fountain. So just to kind of find the right amount of weight for the water. Was you have to get it just right, and even for some of the critters it could be just a little tricky. Like one in particular that kind of comes to mind is the red panda. Well, I have no idea whatsoever what kind of noise a red panda makes. I didn't know that they really necessarily made noises, but one of our team had said, oh, it's very similar to the raccoon, and so that's what I started to look for, was just any kind of like little peep or scurry that might sort of, fit well with the red panda. And then the piglet was, you have to make sure you have the right kind of noise or squeak to a piglet, not a pig. So it's really just, some of them were pretty easy to find. Others, you kind of had to get creative in what your keywords in your search with Audio Jungle. So yeah, that's just a little bit about it. I loved it. We were going to do a yawn for the transition of the day, to throw in a yawn, and that was probably the most interesting of them all. That and the goat, probably, because the yawn, it was really a challenge to find one that wasn't really creepy or too breathy or just like, I feel kind of, this isn't right. I don't feel like this will be a good fit. So, I did what I was asked, and I gave a few selections, and luckily we I think we scratched that, and a beautiful tune plays now. So when you transition through the day, but yeah, the yawn was kind of interesting, to put it in a nice way.
No, it's fascinating. So, in addition to sound effects, I know that you were very involved in the playtesting process.
Yes.
You played the game yourself, but you also worked with others. You brought others on board to try out Loam. What was that experience like?
It was really neat to, we look at it day in and day out, and we know it so well. To have someone just with fresh eyes, no experience, come in, and just the reaction, and like what little things they see or notice and like, or maybe different from what we notice and we like. And so yeah, it was really neat to have our friends, family, peers, and people that we may not, there were several that we didn't know that who come in and wanted to play test, to give their feedback, and we took it all into consideration when continuing to build and to produce. So yeah, it was a really cool experience. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, because I know you and we both played the game a lot, and we probably noticed the same things over and over again. So it's invaluable to have somebody else not as attached to the project come in and try it out.
Right,
as well.
exactly.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite decoration in the game?
Probably the gnome, but I think he's going to be a hot item. I have a feeling. So, oh gosh, let's see. I like the fountains, to be honest. I think I like the relaxing sound of the water. I enjoy that in the game and in real life. So yeah, I would say that there's a lot to choose from too. So that's really cool.
Yeah. As Amy chooses now, all these
Oh, yeah.
options.
And let's see. And so, yeah, I think someone in the comments had said, what's that moving over there? And it was probably a little critter that you'll see different ones come out at different times. And one other thing that we did for our plants and our critters was a thorough fact check with we had an actual biologist go in and make sure that the sizes and just like all of the details of each animal were correct. So there were no corners cut in our research for the critters and the plants. And in the pages of the journal, you'll see coming soon. And so you'll be able to tell what to plant to attract which critters. So yeah, it's probably stuff that you can apply to real life, your real life garden. Like you'll know what will not deflect. What's the word I'm looking for? Who? Deter like deer and stuff. Like they don't like certain smells and all this stuff. So it's it's cool things that you can apply to your real life garden. So and one other thing I did.
Look, there's a pig.
Oh yeah, there's a little pig.
I was like, that's one of the critters you can attract.
They're fast too. Yeah, so one other thing I did was to find fun facts about the critters, and that was really, really fun. I spent probably more time than I should have on it because I would just get so interested and intrigued with things like the possum being one of the oldest mammals. Let's see, I had to write it down. Possum's been around longer than any mammal, with fossils dating back 20 million years. So
that's crazy.
I know.
I did not know that.
And the possums actually, they do quite a bit for us. So although they're not the most stunning,
a little hard to look at.
Yes, but they are, sweet creatures. So be sweet to the possum, please. Let's see another one. That rabbits' teeth never stop growing. I didn't know that. I don't think that I knew that. And when goats eat, they grab the food with their lips and then bring it into their mouth.
It's so weird.
It is so weird. So just, little things like that is pretty entertaining and it's fun. And I think it's cool to include things like that in the game because, again, this game is for all ages. So even your youngsters that may not necessarily know those things, it's fun. And grown-ups like myself who didn't know those things. So it's neat to include those little nuggets into the game.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Especially the possum.
Especially the possum.
Oldest mammals.
I know.
I can't believe I didn't know that.
I had no idea they had been around that long. So yeah, and there'll be more critters that get introduced into not this version, but yeah. So yeah, more critters with wings and such.
Nice. So Amy's opened her journal up to the piglet page, which will give you a little bit more information about pigs.
So yeah, part of the information that will be on the journal will be how fast they can run, how high they can jump, all kinds of.
They see the whole lowdown.
Yeah, the whole lowdown.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Let's see what. I'm trying to think. Oh, another fun fact is that our music, if no one knew, the music that you hear, that gorgeous.
Oh yes, the calming
ensemble
music.
is our CEO and director Annie Eaton. She did all of our music herself. So I don't know what other gaming company can claim that, but we sure can. So we're gonna own that
in-house music productions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Benbow Baggins TV asked, are there any different locations you can have gardens in? For now, in Loam Sandbox, this is the only garden plot that you'll have access to, but we are definitely constantly thinking of new areas for you to be able to not only explore but build the garden of your dreams within. So definitely let us know if there's somewhere that you really all your life you've wanted to be able to visit regularly and you wanted to be able to make your own. Then definitely let us know, either through Discord or through one of our social media channels. Absolutely.
What?
So thank you, Jamie.
Yes.
Thank you, Jamie, for hopping in on this stream with
You're
me.
welcome.
We enjoyed your fun facts, and it was really interesting hearing about the sound selection. So
It was a lot of fun. Yes.
Sweet. Thank you. And speaking of the music earlier, why don't we interview the executive producer responsible for all these sweet jams that we hear as we garden? Here she comes.
Hey. Are you ready?
Hey.
Oh gosh, I feel like I'm sitting so low. Okay, you're really tall. Okay.
Maybe I just.
Hi, everybody.
So this is Annie Eaton, and she is not only the CEO of Amoebus Labs, but she's also the executive producer of Loam Sandbox and was responsible for all the music that we hear in the game. So Annie, what was that process like, creating all these songs?
Well, I'm really glad that I did it, I will say, first off. At first, it was really just to have some temp music in there. I have been a musician my whole life. I started playing piano when I was 4, and really just kind of dabbled on the side with composition. So this gave me an opportunity to dust those skills off and get back into it. And then when I started to see the worlds come to life from our art team and see the environments during the different times of day, I thought, wow, I really want to roll with this. So I created a unique song for morning, daytime, evening, and nighttime. And as we expand the environments, we are going to continue to, add different music for the times of day, depending on the feeling of that environment. So I'm really excited to keep doing it, and I'm really happy with how peaceful and relaxing the first tracks came out.
Agreed. I couldn't imagine gardening in Loam without these songs.
Yeah, it was not as exciting before the audio was added, I will say. Audio really does have a huge impact on any game.
So Amy's gone to sleep a couple of times, and there's a little jingle that plays. Did
Yes.
you make that as well?
I did, and actually there's a funny story behind the jingle. So if any of you out there are Animal Crossing fans, a lot of our team is Animal Crossing fans as well. And if you do play Animal Crossing, you know that you can go to Isabel, who helps manage your island, and change your island tune. And they have like a little thing that you can do where you kind of play with the notes and change it yourself. It's not a really robust program or anything, but it does allow you to make your own island tune. And so when I was thinking about the little nighttime leaf motif that my developers had suggested, I'm like, what could I use? What would be kind of funny? And so I went back to the island tune that I had written in Animal Crossing and then made an adaptation of it for the game.
That is funny.
Yeah.
You made a song for a different game.
I made a song for a different game that I ended up adapting and turning into a nighttime song for here.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, so there's some fun little things in there that we did. Something else that's like a little Easter egg is that a couple of the items in the decor catalog actually have names inspired by some of our team members. So there is a Vecchio vase that is attributed to our art director, Shelby Vecchio. And then there's also a stout barrel, which is in honor of our producer, Amy Stout, who you're seeing play right now. So we've got a couple of little fun tidbits hidden in there.
That's awesome for sure. Do you have a favorite asset or a favorite decoration plant? Is there anything in the game?
I mean, I feel bad because Jamie just said gnome, but the gnome is so freaking cute. I can't wait until we expand into merchandise and I can have a little plushie gnome. If anyone wants that too in the chat, say so, because I would totally love a little plushie gnome.
But no, I think the glass grass, which I think was the first decor Amy chose today, is one of the most unique and pretty items. I don't know if I would have that in real life just because it'd probably get like dirty or I'd break it. But having it in the virtual world is just so pretty and really unique and gives some fun texture to the environment. So I think that the glass grass may be one of my favorites as well.
Nice. Yeah.
What about you, Nick? What's
Probably-
your favorite?
Probably the arbor.
The arbor. Ooh,
Yeah,
that's a good
it's
one.
really big. I like the really big, really anything, because even the plants. I love the sunflower, for example, because
Yeah.
it grows so tall. I just like to be able to like look at it and kind of.
Well, you're a tall person too, so,
Yeah, so
maybe
maybe-
having some height in there makes you feel right at home.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it is, and so that's why the arbor. Yeah, that's why the arbor stands out for me. But also, I love to then place more decorations underneath it and kind of create almost a room
Oh,
type
yeah.
of feeling in my garden. It's really nice.
So I know the arbor is a big one, but the pergola is even bigger than that. So do you use the pergola, the huge like
Yes.
covering?
Absolutely.
That one's
I use that
nice.
one, and I also use the pillar sometimes. If
Yeah.
I just want something real tall. Yeah.
Nick
To add
likes
some
the
height.
tall decor. We'll have
Honestly,
to
yes. The
include
bigger the
some of that.
better.
We'll include some more statues next time.
Nice. Looking forward to the next expansion.
Great. I know, me too. See, I know it's day one and we're already excited. But yeah, any other questions for me? I mean, I think we've got a developer around here I could bring on camera.
Yes.
Yeah.
please
Okay.
do.
I'm gonna go find Pierce.
Sounds awesome.
Okay. I'll be back. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Annie.
Here's one of your favorite corns. This is how tall it is.
Tall corn.
Yeah, I love corn. Corn is. I'm not sure if it's taller than the sunflower, but both of those are like actually my favorite plants in the game. So Annie's gone to go get the lead producer or the lead developer of Loam Sandbox, who's been involved from the very start. I'm curious to see his favorite parts of the game, considering he was an influential piece in creating it. Ooh, and here he is. Pierce, if you like, just take a seat.
All right.
That's perfect. Everyone, this is Pierce. So Pierce, you were the lead developer on Loam Sandbox?
Yes, I was.
And so, what was that sort of process like? Was it mainly leading others on the project? Was it mainly you
Well,
creating the code?
I mean, it started out with just myself and Shane doing the main developers on it. So we just kind of needed like somebody to manage the Jira cards at first, and it was pretty like collaborative at that point. Over time, it became more about directing us to do the correct thing at the right time in the right order, and a bit more like that managerial stuff. And that was a lot of our like learning process when we went through making this game. So I'd say about still probably like 70% coding and like 30% management. So we only have myself and one other developer working on it right now. So
Gotcha. That's interesting.
Yeah.
When did development start? Do you remember?
like probably at the beginning of the pandemic, like early 2020, I would say. Pretty sure. Yeah, because we got reached out where Oculus was like blowing up and was interested in trying to get more non-traditional people playing their games or playing games on the Oculus.
Cool.
And because we already had done VR work in the past, not games, but VR work, they reached out to us to see whether or not we would be able to make something that was a little more, a little less zombies, a little less shooting. Basically.
Makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like
So
that was like close to an actual directive.
that's really cool that Oculus reached out.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that pretty much all the pre-production happened remotely because of the pandemic?
Oh, definitely, yeah. The like whole trying to like think back about it, but yeah, I'm fairly confident that every single thing that we planned on like early on, all the prototyping happened remote. I think we started going into we didn't start actually going into an office until we got vaccinated, so like, it took a long time to get to that point.
That's fascinating. So
yeah.
what do you think differentiates, I guess, in office, in person development with your team? How does that differ from having to do it entirely remotely?
It takes more like I feel like there's like more of a chance for miscommunication and like, I mean, I've been hearing a lot about like different companies starting going back to the office, staying fully remote, like what works and what doesn't for different people. The best like separation that I've heard, or the best like way of distinguishing different kinds of work, is like soft work and hard work. Soft work being, or hard work is a simpler one, being like, I have a skill and I'm performing a task. So if you're programming, it's like you have a card, or you have an issue that says you need to program XYZ, and you just do that. You know how to do that. You already know how to do that. You don't need somebody looking over your shoulder, and you can do that at home. Soft work is more mushy because it's somebody talking to you, communication, collaboration, or brainstorming. Anything where like you need to actually work with another person to do it.
Okay.
And that soft work is the thing that I think it's not impossible to do remote. I would say it might be harder depending on the team dynamic and how comfortable people are with each other. Because different forms of communication, especially digital communication, are less feature rich. Or to simpler way to put it, it's very easy to misunderstand somebody when they type it.
That makes sense.
It's a little bit easier to understand what they mean when you can hear them say it, and you can see their face, and then maybe their body.
So I'm sure lots of Microsoft Teams calls involved.
Yeah, I started making a rule to try to call people. I ended up text chatting with them for more than like 2 to 5 minutes, something like that, because like 9 times out of 10, it's faster to just talk about it.
Yeah, I believe that for sure. For sure. Okay. Weird question, but during the planning phase, how did you guys decide which plants, which decorations would feature in the game?
That was a lot of that came from Amy and Annie, because they were they know how to garden. My mom also liked gardening, and like I don't have a green thumb, but I also don't have like a brown thumb. Like I won't kill it, but I'm not like out there like digging holes constantly. I don't have a backyard. But they knew a lot about plants. They knew a lot about gardening. They were interested in using real life plants. And I've played games before with like real life information in them. A lot of like mostly strategy games. And I always found that kind of fun to be able to like open up the Civilopedia or read about a real character in some medieval game. Like that's always neat. So that was kind of the genesis of the journal, and the genesis to try to use real life things as much as we could, even if the actual like requirements to plant them aren't the same as they are in real life. Right. The object or the plant itself, that's a thing that you could reasonably plant. I guess depending on where you live. You need more water, I will say.
Makes sense. Do you have a favorite asset in the game?
Oh, it's easily a gnome.
The gnome.
No, that's an easy one because it's tattooed on my arm.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, the gnome design is like it like grew on me a lot. It's very distinct. That's the thing I like about it the best, and it was the one thing it's like here.
Yeah,
but
it does feel very iconic.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing that I told the artist when I got the tattoo with it. Like it's just got to be clear that it's this gnome. And she did it.
Yeah, nice.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
No, I was just like remembering the fact that when I was making my Animal Crossing island, I also like bought every gnome I could find because it came around at the same time we were doing all of this. So like I would just buy gnomes and just hide them throughout my planet.
That's so funny.
So every time people came over, they're just commented on how many gnomes.
Gnome hoarder.
Yeah, they're Easter eggs. You gotta look for them. You gotta hide it.
I like it. Is there anything that you are excited to see come to Loam? Is there anything that you're we're really looking forward to adding to the game?
We're already have a feature plan to add customization to decorations, and we'll see how far we can get into it. But
That's great.
I really like that. I really like features like that allow a small number of assets to be used in a wide array, like creatively.
Yes.
And it's kind of a fun programming challenge to try to figure out a way to get an asset to look nice, even if you get to pick the color, pick the texture, pick the material, or something like that.
Really cool.
Yeah.
And it'll be a really effective way of making similar gardens from two different people. You just look
Yeah.
visually and feel just very different
Yeah,
still.
I mean, I always I think about things sometimes in terms of like the math of it. But if you just like you have 20 things, but then you say it could be any color, now you theoretically have infinite permutations of it. Not all of them are good colors, but
It's fair enough.
yeah.
Amy just then pulled up her menu, and in the menu you can change your locomotion modes, you can change vibration, and also the sounds in the game. If you don't want to hear sound effects, if you don't want to hear the music, you're free to adjust them. I just wanted to make a note of that before I forgot. So Amy selected smooth locomotion. She just now switched it back to teleport.
She's not going to use that one. You don't have to use it.
Yeah, you don't have to keep it on.
doesn't-
I just wanted to see.
It does not make me sick. It makes other people sick easily. And it makes in fact, I think it makes most people sick, to be honest. It's just like some people, some of the weirdos, like, enjoy it. So I'm in this boat.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, I prefer teleport as well. But it's not because I get sick on smooth. It's mainly because I can move around a little bit faster by teleporting.
Yeah.
So yeah, Amy was trying to get there with smooth. We still
And then I played through a lot of that Resident Evil 4 one in smooth. Got to get away from the zombies. Got to slide away.
Speaking of other games, were there any games in particular that you kind of looked to when you were designing when you were designing Loam's gameplay?
Oh, Animal Crossing is probably the most obvious inspiration. Like I played the GameCube Animal Crossings, and I think I played Wild World. I played this one obviously like hit off like no other Animal Crossing that hit off the most recent one. That was something that like I just saw so many people who didn't usually play video games play, and that was one of the things that we were trying to do with Loam, was find a game and play style that people who aren't used to playing video games or might not be interested in zombies, robots, guns might want to try. And lo and behold, we got something a little bit close to that. We also talked about games like Harvest Moon, a little bit of games like Minecraft, like anything that had appeal beyond anything that like wasn't focused on destruction, but on like creation in some way.
Yeah, and I also appreciate how in Loam the emphasis is not on winning or losing, but rather kind of like just expressing yourself and almost relaxing, for lack of a better word.
I mean, I see a lot of see that as like a growing play pattern, a thing that more and more people are like both getting used to in games, and more games are catering towards. Yeah, like God, we'll start doing this crafting system now.
Fair enough. Yeah,
we will soon.
Fair enough. Even to bring up a shooter with it, I know Halo has a popular mode where you can create sort of your own maps.
The Forge.
Yeah,
it's in everything now. It's like player expression goes hand in hand with whatever game you're actually making.
I think that's important. It'll probably add longevity to the game too, right? Considering you can hop back in, like you said earlier, kind of infinite possibilities for you to hop in and express yourself. I don't think it'll ever really get boring.
Yeah, as long as just finding the right ones for you, or the right kind of decorations, the right kinds of things. Whatever is pretty, whatever is enjoyable, whatever is fun. Or you could just be like some of my friends with Animal Crossing, and every time they finish building their island, they just tear it down. They're like down, they got a new idea, or they never finish it and they just keep changing
keeps morphing into something new.
Every time they get halfway through making something, they're like, I don't know, I'm not feeling this anymore. I'm gonna make something new. Like the craft itself is the goal, not the outcome.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's a pretty cool way to design your game. In the chat, SeanTheBomb.com asked, how realistic is Loam meant to be? I suck at gardening, and I would rather learn in VR than kill plants through trial and error. How realistic is Loam?
It's not intended as a simulation of gardening. It's use real life plants, but we don't use real life gardening techniques. You'd probably be on your knees, like weeding or looking for mites or other things I've learned about, little molds, things like that. That'd be a little hard to convey on like such a on this device, and it's like harder to teach.
Gotcha.
So all you got to do is water them in loam. But if you actually want to plant some of these things, be careful of that.
So it's safe to say maybe loam will make you feel like a good gardener, but it won't actually make you a better gardener.
Yeah, the goal is not to be the like paradox of food gardening games.
Gotcha. I hope that helps, Sean. Annie in the chat said you can't kill the plants; they only wilt, but you can always bring them back to life, which is nice.
That's right.
Yes, that is nice. You'll never be able to kill a plant in loam. So you can't be bad at loam, really, when you think about it. Everybody's going to be good at this game.
Yeah, that's fine. Can't really be bad at loam crafts.
Yeah, another good point.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I used to teach at a summer camp, and I literally watched a kid in the creative mode use a fishing pole to just hook a pig for I swear to God, at least 25 minutes, just flying above it, throwing the hook down and swinging it back up. Because I don't know, I don't think he was bad at Minecraft. He was playing it a different way.
That's hilarious. Also hilarious is what Bobby Blackwolf just said. You can't be bad at loam. That sounds like a challenge to me. Bobby, you're going to be great.
Let's see, just all wilted. That's the goal. Just wants all wilted.
That's the point. Amy's garden's come a long way since the start of the stream.
Yeah, that's all in one session.
Yeah. So you said the gnome was your favorite asset in the game. Do you have a favorite plant? Is there something you enjoy growing more than the others?
Oh, I mean, I like the rose plant that Shelby designed. I just think it looks nice. I don't know, favorite plant's a funny one. I like tomatoes as well, but I also like tomatoes in real life.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm also a vegetarian, so it plays into it. But
Gotcha.
I will stand the best tomatoes that you can get a hold of, like the crispest. Just don't put them in a fridge. That's like if you learn anything from the stream, don't put your tomatoes in a fridge.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, tomatoes are one of my favorites to grow. Just logistically, if I'm trying to save up some souls, go on a spending spree, buy a bunch of decorations.
Yeah, they're easier to grow, and you get a bunch of tomatoes off of them.
Yeah.
So
it's really sustainable.
It's a funny way of putting it.
But yeah,
it's sustainable. It's they grow faster too.
Yes, Benbow, this game is available on App Lab. So if you search Loam Sandbox on the Quest store, you'll be able to pull it up. You can also sideload it from SideQuest onto your headset. Just make sure you search Loam Sandbox.
You want me to take you around my garden?
Yes. Amy's gonna show us her garden, the final product. Yes, thank you, Pierce,
programming
for hopping in the stream. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah.
So this area is my vegetable garden.
I'll just repeat everything you say, basically. So this is Amy's vegetable garden.
This is where I'm making money. So I have canna, which is you make a lot.
This is how she's making money. So she has some canna, which so those canna plants are going to net her a lot of souls. She's actually attracted a bunny rabbit that you can see off in the corner. Oh, the bunny ran away. And what's this section of your garden, Amy?
This section is my flowers and pretty stuff to look at. So I have one of Jamie's favorite pieces of decor.
So this is the pretty section. We've got all the pretty flowers and decorations over here, including one of Jamie's favorite decorations, the fountain.
I have sunflowers and scallions.
She's got a couple of my favorite flowers too, sunflowers.
And this is my seating area with a vecchio vase.
Oh, nice.
I'm saving up for a Swedish firewalk right there.
She's got a little seating area, and you got a pretty nice view there too.
Yeah.
That vase on the ground is the vecchio vase that we talked about earlier, inspired by the art director for Loam Sandbox, Shelby Vecchio.
So I just sit here and look out into the river area.
Yeah, she's taking a seat on her little bench, her little seating area, just enjoying the view. Gorgeous composition and strategy. I agree, Annie.
So there you go.
And there we have it. That's the whole garden. Thank you, everybody, for joining in on our Loam launch stream. We were really excited to launch Loam Sandbox, and we can't wait for you to try it. So definitely, whether or not you're going to play the game, join our Discord because we'll share pictures of gardens. We're curious to see what your gardens are looking like too. So don't hesitate to send a couple pics our way. And we're always looking for feedback as well. It's important that we hear what you want to add to the game so that we know what to incorporate next. And we've got our social media channels linked on our Twitch About section. So if you're curious, you want to follow us on maybe Twitter, Instagram, or even LinkedIn, all the links are there. And like I said before, our Discord is going to be a big place for us to directly interact with you. So be sure to join there as well and let us know what you think. Report any bugs, things you wish were in the game. We can't wait to hear from you. We can't wait to see you try this game. So thanks again for joining the stream. And